Space near the Threshold system blazed with the light of 300 Kravik warships. The Supreme Warlord stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, and surveyed his fleet with satisfaction. This was the largest military force the Kravik had ever assembled. Every world in the Dominion had contributed ships. Every warrior worth his rank had volunteered. "Today we crush these humans," he announced to his command staff. "Today we show the galaxy what happens to those who oppose the Kravik. We will destroy their fleet. Then we will find their homeworld and burn it to ash. No species defies us and lives," his officers cheered. They had heard reports of the humans' victories, but they did not believe them. 57 human ships could not possibly defeat 300 Kravik vessels. The numbers made victory impossible. Or so they thought, aboard the Indomitable. Admiral Kim studied the tactical display with Captain Park and the newly arrived High Admiral Boram Shin. Earth had sent reinforcements as soon as they heard about the Kravik mobilization. 45 additional ships had arrived, bringing the human fleet to 57 vessels. Still outnumbered more than 5-1. "They are confident," Admiral Shin observed. She was older than Kim, with white hair and sharp eyes that had seen countless battles. "They think their numbers guarantee victory. Then they will learn the same lesson their forward fleet did," Kim replied. "Numbers mean nothing without skill. Captain Yoon, what do your scouts report?" Captain Donghae Yoon shimmered into view. His stealth frigate Shadow had been infiltrating the Kravik fleet for 3 days, gathering intelligence while invisible to their sensors. "Sir, their formation is standard. Command ship in the center, capital ships in a protective ring, smaller vessels on the outside. They have no idea we have been watching them." "Perfect," Admiral Shin said with a cold smile. "Then let us give them a surprise they will never forget." The human fleet moved to intercept the Kravik at the Threshold system, a strategic point between Velrin and Kravik space. It was the perfect place for a decisive battle. Wide open space with good sensor visibility, no planets to worry about collateral damage. Just 2 fleets meeting to decide the future of this region of space. Rila watched from the Indomitable's observation deck. The Velrin Council had offered to commit their civilian fleet to the battle. Hundreds of cargo ships and transports, armed with human weapons and ready to support the fight. Admiral Kim had accepted gratefully. "Every ship mattered. You should not be here," Vekor said nervously. "This will be dangerous. The safest place is back on Thesara Prime." "If the humans lose, nowhere will be safe," Rila replied. "I need to see this. I need to witness what happens when our 2 species stand together." The fleets came within sensor range. The Kravik broadcast a message demanding immediate surrender. Admiral Kim ignored it. He had said everything necessary through his actions. There would be no surrender. Only battle. "All ships, this is Kim," he transmitted across the human fleet. "Today we face an enemy who believes might makes right, who thinks they can conquer the weak simply because they have more guns. We are about to teach them a lesson humanity learned long ago. It is not the size of the fleet that matters. It is the courage of those who crew it. For the Velrin, for peace, for every species that cannot defend itself. All ships engage." The battle began with a massive exchange of fire. 300 Kravik ships unleashed everything they had. Missiles filled space. Energy weapons created a web of death. It should have been overwhelming. It should have destroyed the human fleet instantly. But human point defense was too good. Railguns picked off missiles with impossible accuracy. Electronic warfare systems confused Kravik targeting. The human ships scattered into smaller formations, refusing to present easy targets. They moved like dancers, each ship knowing exactly where the others would be. Commander Hyejin Lee launched her fighter squadron into the chaos. Dragon Squadron had grown famous among both humans and Velrin for their skill. Today they would earn that reputation again. "All fighters, Wolfpack tactics," she ordered. "Pick your targets and make them count." The fighters screamed into the Kravik formation. They moved so fast, turned so sharply that the enemy could not track them. A human pilot could handle G-forces that would black out any other species. They used this advantage ruthlessly, making impossible maneuvers and striking from unexpected angles. Hyejin locked onto a Kravik destroyer and fired missiles. They hit the engine section perfectly. The ship went dark, drifting helplessly. She was already moving to her next target before the explosions stopped. "This is Dragon 2, her wingman reported. "I have got a cruiser lined up." "Take it," Hyejin confirmed. "Dragon 3 and 4 cover our exit vector." The squadron worked as one mind, each pilot knowing what the others needed. This was what separated human pilots from everyone else, not just their reflexes or their ships. Their ability to think together, to trust absolutely, to coordinate without hesitation. Admiral Shin commanded the left wing of the human fleet. She executed a brilliant flanking maneuver, taking advantage of a gap in the Kravik formation. Her ships punched through their line and attacked from behind. The Kravik tried to turn and respond, but human ships were faster and more maneuverable. They stayed in the enemy's blind spots, dealing damage while avoiding return fire. The Velran support fleet proved invaluable. Their ships could not fight directly, but they provided logistics, carried extra missiles, and rescued survivors from damaged vessels. They also served as decoys, drawing fire away from human warships. The Kravik wasted precious ammunition shooting at targets that did not matter, while human ships closed for killing shots. 6 hours into the battle, the Supreme Warlord watched his fleet disintegrate. He had lost over 100 ships. The humans had lost only 7. This was impossible. Unthinkable. His numerical advantage meant nothing. His superior firepower was useless. These humans fought like demons from nightmare. "Sir, we must retreat," his aide begged. "We cannot win this fight, no," the warlord screamed. "The Dominion does not retreat. We will break them through sheer force. All ships focus fire on their flagship. Kill their admiral and they will crumble." The Kravik fleet turned its full attention to the Indomitable. Hundreds of weapons fired simultaneously at Captain Park's ship. For a moment, it seemed like nothing could survive that much concentrated fire. But the Indomitable was a human dreadnought, built to take punishment that would vaporize lesser vessels. Its shields held. Its armor absorbed hits that should have killed it. And while the Kravik focused on one target, the rest of the human fleet tore into them unopposed. "All power to forward batteries," Captain Park ordered calmly, as if being shot by 100 ships was just another day. "Target their command ship. Fire when ready." The Indomitable's main guns charged and fired. The beams crossed space in an instant and struck the Eternal Dominion with devastating force. The Supreme Warlord's flagship broke apart, its shields overwhelmed, its hull cracked like an egg. The command ship exploded in a brilliant flash. With their leader dead and their flagship destroyed, the Kravik fleet panicked. Ships broke formation and ran in all directions. Some tried to surrender. Others fled into hyperspace. The organized military force became a scattered mob in minutes. "All ships pursue and engage," Admiral Kim ordered. "Do not let them regroup. This ends today." The human fleet chased down fleeing Kravik ships. They offered surrender to those who asked. Those who kept fighting were destroyed. By the time night fell on Thessera Prime, the Battle of Threshold was over. The Kravik Dominion's fleet was broken beyond repair. Rila stood on the observation deck and watched the aftermath. Debris floated everywhere. Rescue ships moved among the wreckage, saving survivors from both sides. The humans had won a victory that should have been impossible. 57 ships against 300. And they had won. Admiral Kim appeared beside her. He looked tired but satisfied. "It is over, Ambassador. The Kravik will not threaten your people again. They will not threaten anyone for a very long time." "What happens now?" Rila asked quietly. She knew the answer would change everything. The galaxy had just witnessed something unprecedented. A small fleet of Deathworlders had defeated an empire. Every species in known space would have heard about this battle. Every civilization would now know that humans existed, and they would all want to know what humanity planned to do next. The drop pods screamed through the atmosphere like meteors. Inside, Lieutenant Minho Choi checked his weapon one last time. Around him, his platoon sat strapped into their seats, silent and focused. They had done this dozens of times before. Orbital insertion was dangerous and violent, but it was the fastest way to get troops on the ground. The pod shook hard enough to rattle teeth. Heat from atmospheric entry turned the exterior red hot, but the Marines inside did not flinch. They were trained for this, born for this. Human bodies could handle the stress that would kill softer species. 30 seconds to impact, the pod's computer announced. "Brace for landing." Minho gripped his harness. The pod's retro rockets fired, slowing their descent. Then they hit. The impact would have broken bones in most species. For humans in powered armor, it was just another rough landing. The pod's sides exploded outward and the Marines charged out into the daylight. They had landed in farmland on the southern continent. Fields of golden crops stretched in every direction. In the distance, smoke rose from a Velran city under Kravik attack. Minho's helmet display showed enemy positions marked in red. Thousands of them. The Kravik had spread out across 100 square kilometers, burning and looting as they went. "First platoon. On me," Minho ordered. "Second and third, take the flanks. Fourth, establish a fire base and call in air support. Let us show these invaders what a mistake looks like." The Marines moved out in perfect formation. Each soldier knew their role. Each trusted the others absolutely. They advanced toward the nearest Kravik position, a commandeered warehouse where enemy troops had set up a forward base. The Kravik sentries saw them coming. They raised alarms and opened fire. Plasma bolts streaked across the field. Most missed. The few that hit splashed harmlessly off human armor. The Marines did not even slow down. "Suppressing fire," Minho called. His squad dropped to one knee and unleashed hell. Railgun rounds punched through the warehouse walls like paper. Kravik soldiers died before they could find cover. Those who tried to run were cut down by precision fire. It was over in 30 seconds. "Contact eliminated," his squad leader reported. "No casualties." "Good," Minho said. "Mark it and move to the next target. Keep the pressure on." Across the continent, 2,000 human Marines hit the Kravik forces like a hammer. They moved fast, struck hard, and gave the enemy no time to organize. Major Tajin Bey commanded from a mobile command center, coordinating the assault with ruthless efficiency. "Artillery, this is command." He spoke into his communicator. "Target grid 779er. Enemy battalion forming up. Give them high explosive, danger close." "Roger, command." "Rounds incoming." Artillery shells screamed down from orbit. The human ships had positioned themselves perfectly for fire support. The shells hit with devastating accuracy, right where Major Bey had called them. Explosions tore through the Kravik formation. Those who survived scattered in panic. "Infantry, advance through the gap," Bey ordered. "Do not let them regroup." The Kravik had never fought an enemy like this. They were used to overwhelming primitive species with numbers and firepower. But humans fought with combined arms warfare. Infantry worked with armor. Artillery supported ground troops. Aircraft provided close air support. Everything moved together like a well-oiled machine. Sergeant Yuna-O led her squad through a destroyed Velran neighborhood. They were hunting a Kravik heavy weapons team that had been firing on civilians. Her helmet sensors picked up heat signatures in a collapsed building. She signaled her squad to spread out and advance carefully. The Kravik opened fire too early. Their plasma cannon lit up the street. But Yuna had anticipated it. Her squad was already in cover. "Specialist Quan, you have the shot?" she asked. "Affirmative, Sergeant," Minseo Quan replied from his position behind a wall. The combat engineer aimed his anti-tank weapon carefully. One shot was all he would get. He fired. The missile streaked across the street and into the building. The Kravik weapon position exploded in a ball of fire. Secondary explosions followed as their ammunition cooked off. Nobody inside survived. "Target destroyed," Quan reported calmly. "Good shooting," Yuna said. "Move up and clear the area. Look for survivors." They found Velran civilians hiding in a basement, 12 of them, including children. They were terrified, huddled together in the dark. When they saw the human Marines, massive figures in powered armor, they cried out in fear. Yuna removed her helmet. Her face was human, not alien. "Not Kravik," she smiled gently. "You are safe now," she said in their language, translated by her computer. "We are friends. We are here to help. Come with us. We will take you somewhere safe." The civilians did not understand what these strange warriors were, but they understood kindness. They followed the Marines out of the ruined neighborhood, toward evacuation points where Velran medical teams waited. The battle raged for 9 days. The Kravik tried everything. They attempted to hold defensive positions. The humans flanked them. They tried to mass their forces for counterattacks. Human artillery and airstrikes destroyed them before they could advance. They tried to hide in cities and use civilians as shields. The Marines went in on foot and cleared them out room by room. Nothing worked. Human tactics were too advanced. Human weapons were too powerful. Human soldiers were too skilled. And most terrifying of all, humans never seemed to tire. They fought around the clock in any weather under any conditions. Day or night made no difference to them. General Tharn commanded the Kravik ground forces. He sat in his command bunker and watched his forces crumble. 50,000 troops had landed on this planet. Now he had fewer than 10,000 combat-effective soldiers left. His supply lines were cut. His reinforcements were destroyed. His fleet was gone, sir, his aide said quietly. The humans are broadcasting a message. They want you to surrender. Tharn wanted to refuse, wanted to fight to the last soldier. That was the Kravik way. But he looked at the tactical display and saw only red enemy markers surrounding his position. He had lost. Completely and utterly lost. Transmit our surrender, he said, the words bitter as poison. Tell them we will lay down our weapons. Lieutenant Minho Choi led the team that accepted the surrender. They marched into the Kravik bunker with weapons ready. The enemy soldiers looked defeated and exhausted. They dropped their weapons and raised their hands. Not one of them wanted to continue fighting humans. Major Bay transmitted the final report to Admiral Kim. Ground operations complete. Enemy forces have surrendered. Casualties, 42,000 enemy killed or captured. Our losses, 17 wounded, 4 serious, no deaths. Requesting permission to begin humanitarian operations. Permission granted, Kim replied. Well done, Major. Bring our people home. Rila stood on a hillside and watched human Marines help rebuild a destroyed village. These same warriors who had fought so viciously were now carrying supplies, clearing rubble and treating wounded with gentle care. They laughed with Velrun children and shared their rations with hungry civilians. Dr. Han worked alongside Velrun medical teams in a field hospital. She taught them new techniques and learned from their knowledge of biology. The two species, so different, found common ground in the desire to heal and help. Vekor approached Rila with his data pad. His face was serious. Ambassador, we intercepted Kravik communications. Their Dominion is mobilizing. They are gathering the largest fleet in their history. 300 warships. They are coming here to destroy the humans and make an example of us. This war is not over. It is just beginning. The shuttle carried Rila and Vekor up through the atmosphere toward the massive human ship. The Indomitable grew larger in the viewport with each passing second. It was enormous, easily 3 times the size of the largest Velrun station. Dark metal covered its hull, scarred from countless battles. Weapon ports lined its surface like eyes. This was not a ship built for exploration or trade. This was a weapon designed to kill other ships. I am frightened, Vekor admitted quietly. So am I, Rila said. But we must understand who these people are. We invited them here. Now we have to live with that choice. The shuttle docked with a soft clang. The airlock door opened with a hiss. A human stood waiting for them. He wore a uniform that was clean but practical, built for function rather than ceremony. He was tall with broad shoulders and dark hair. His eyes studied them carefully, measuring and assessing. Ambassador Rila, Scientist Vekor, he said. His voice was deep and calm. I am Captain Jiwan Park. Welcome aboard the Indomitable. Admiral Kim is waiting in the conference room. Please follow me. They walked through corridors that hummed with energy. Everything was efficient and organized. Crew members moved with purpose, each knowing exactly what their job was. Nobody wasted time. Nobody seemed uncertain. It was so different from Velrun stations, where people took time to socialize and appreciate art between tasks. The conference room was simple. A large table, chairs designed for function, screens showing tactical data. Admiral Kim stood as they entered. He was older than Captain Park, with gray in his hair and lines around his eyes. But he moved like someone much younger, with contained energy and obvious strength. Please sit, he said. I understand you have many questions. I will try to answer them all. Rila sat carefully. The chair was too hard for Velrun comfort, built for different bodies. Admiral, first let me thank you for saving our world. Without your intervention, the Kravik would have destroyed us. We are in your debt. Kim nodded. You activated a beacon that called for help. We answered. That is what the beacon was designed for. No debt is necessary. But we do not understand, Vekor said. The beacon was left by an unknown species long ago. How did you know about it? How did you know to respond? The Admiral leaned back in his chair. 300 years ago, When humans first developed faster-than-light travel, we explored deep space. We found one of these beacons drifting in an empty system. It took us 50 years to understand it. The beacon was part of a network, left by a species that no longer exists. They called themselves the Guardians. What happened to them? Rila asked. We do not know. They vanished millions of years ago, but they left these beacons behind, scattered across the galaxy. Each one waits on a world where intelligent life might develop. When that species faces extinction, the beacon can be activated to call for help. And you heard our call, Vekor said softly. We have been monitoring the beacon network for 200 years, Kim explained, waiting for someone to activate one. You are the first. That is why we came immediately. Rila felt tears in her eyes. These humans had been watching for centuries, hoping to find other species to help. They had built their entire military network around the idea of protecting others. But why? Why would you do this? Kim's expression turned somber. Because we know what it is like to face extinction. Our world, Earth, is not like your world. It is harsh and dangerous. For millions of years, our ancestors fought to survive against predators, disease, starvation, and each other. We evolved to be warriors, because anything else meant death. When we reached space, we hoped to find peaceful species to share the galaxy with. Instead, we found mostly empty worlds and dangerous conditions. We realized that if we ever met other species, they might need protection. Species like yours, who developed on gentler worlds. A woman entered the room carrying a medical scanner. She was young, with intelligent eyes and a calm demeanor. Admiral, the scans are ready, she said. This is Dr. Yoonji Han, our chief medical officer, Kim introduced. She has been studying your biology from the records you sent. I thought you might want to understand why humans fight the way we do. Dr. Han projected an image into the air. It showed a human body next to a Velran body. Your planet has gravity about 60% of Earth's, she explained. Your atmosphere is richer in oxygen. Your temperature range is much narrower. You evolved on what we would call a paradise world. Everything you needed was abundant. You never had to fight for survival the way humans did. The image changed to show Earth. It looked beautiful, but dangerous. Massive storms, extreme temperatures, violent oceans. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world, Han continued. One of the most dangerous planets known to produce intelligent life. Humans evolved dense bones to handle the gravity, powerful muscles to move quickly, aggressive immune systems to fight constant disease, pain tolerance that lets us keep fighting when injured, and most importantly, minds that can make quick decisions under stress. Vekor stared at the images in horror. Your world tried to kill you constantly. Yes, Han said simply. And those of us who survived became very good at staying alive. That is why human soldiers can handle high G-forces that would kill most species. Why we heal from wounds others cannot survive. Why we train constantly for combat. It is built into us. Captain Park spoke up. We are not trying to frighten you. We want you to understand that humans are different. Our culture, our history, everything about us is shaped by millions of years of warfare and survival. But that same nature makes us perfect for protecting species who cannot protect themselves. A sudden alarm interrupted the meeting. A junior officer rushed in. Admiral, we have a problem. Our scouts report Kravik ground forces on the southern continent. 3 landing zones, approximately 50,000 troops. They must have landed before the space battle. Rila felt her heart sink. Our people are there. Civilian populations, cities and farms. We have no army to defend them. Kim stood immediately. Then we will defend them. Captain Park, prepare a marine drop. I want 2,000 troops on the ground within 6 hours. Full armor and air support. Show these Kravik what happens when they threaten innocents. Sir, the junior officer said hesitantly. That is 50,000 Kravik against 2,000 Marines. The odds are fine, Lieutenant Minho Choi said, walking into the room. He wore combat armor that made him look like a walking tank. We are human Marines, not Kravik conscripts. 50-1? I have faced worse. Rila looked at these humans and felt a strange mix of gratitude and fear. They spoke about fighting 50,000 enemies with 2,000 troops like it was a normal day. They showed no doubt, no hesitation, just absolute confidence in their ability to win. "We want to help," she said suddenly. "My people cannot fight, but we can provide medical support. We can guide you through the terrain. We can evacuate civilians. Please let us do something." Kim smiled for the first time. It softened his harsh features. "Ambassador, that would be very welcome. This is your world. We will work together to save it. Dr. Han, coordinate with Velran medical teams. Ambassador, return to your planet and organize the evacuation. We begin the liberation in 6 hours." As Rila left the Indomitable, she looked back at the massive warship. These humans were strange and frightening, shaped by a violent world into perfect warriors. But they had come to help. They asked for nothing in return. They risked their lives for people they had just met. Maybe, she thought, the universe had sent exactly the right allies after all. The Kravik warlord stared at his display screen with growing confusion. The 12 unknown ships were still coming. They should have stopped by now. They should have opened communication channels. They should have shown fear. Instead, they accelerated faster. "Fire warning shots across their path," he ordered. "Show them we are serious." 3 Kravik destroyers launched missiles. Bright trails of fire streaked through space toward the human fleet. The warlord watched confidently. These newcomers would see Kravik power and turn away. Everyone did eventually. The missiles never reached their targets. Streaks of light lanced out from the human ships. The weapons moved so fast the Kravik sensors barely tracked them. Each missile exploded instantly, torn apart by railgun fire. Every single one. Perfect accuracy at incredible range. The warlord's confidence cracked. "What kind of point defense is that?" "Nothing is that accurate." His weapons officer looked pale. "Sir, their computers are faster than ours. Much faster. And those railguns have twice the range of our weapons." "Impossible," the warlord snapped. But his screen showed the truth. The human fleet had not even slowed down. Aboard the Indomitable, Captain Park watched the tactical display with satisfaction. The Kravik warning shots were clumsy and slow. Their formation was textbook standard, the kind taught in first-year Naval Academy. They bunched their ships together for mutual support, which just made them easier targets. "They fired first," she said calmly. "All batteries open fire. Show no mercy." The human fleet unleashed hell. Railguns hurled metal slugs at hypersonic speeds. Laser batteries carved through armor like hot knives through butter. Missiles with advanced guidance systems wove through space, impossible to intercept. The Kravik had never seen weapons like these. Never faced technology this advanced. The first 3 Kravik capital ships died in seconds. Their shields, which seemed so powerful against Velran civilian vessels, meant nothing against human firepower. Hulls split open. Atmosphere vented into space. Internal explosions tore the ships apart from the inside. "Carrier group launch fighters," Admiral Kim ordered from his flagship. "I want air superiority in 3 minutes." Commander Hee-Jin Lee sat in her fighter cockpit as the launch bay doors opened. Behind her, 49 other pilots waited for the signal. She had flown combat missions before against pirates and raiders. This would be her first real fleet battle. "Dragon Squadron, this is Dragon Leader," she broadcast. "Stay tight on approach, then break to attack patterns. Remember, these enemies have never faced human pilots. Show them what that means. Launch." Her fighter shot out of the carrier like a bullet. The acceleration pushed her back into her seat with crushing force. 5Gs, 6, 7. Her vision narrowed at the edges, but her training held. Human pilots could handle forces that would kill most species. Their bodies were stronger, their reflexes faster, their tolerance for pain higher. The fighter squadrons hit the Kravik formation like a swarm of angry hornets. They moved in ways Kravik pilots could not follow. Sudden turns at impossible speeds, rolls and spins that defied logic. One moment a human fighter was in front of you, the next it had somehow gotten behind you. Weapons locked and firing. Hee-Jin targeted a Kravik cruiser and dived toward it. Her wingman followed, weapons hot. Anti-aircraft fire filled the space around them, trying to swat them down. But the Kravik targeting computers were too slow. Human reflexes were too fast. She jinked left, right, up, spinning through the defensive fire like she was dancing. "Dragon 2, take the shield generator," she called. "I have got the engine cluster." Both fighters fired simultaneously. Missiles streaked into the Kravik cruiser's vital systems. Explosions bloomed across its hull. The shields failed. The engines died. The cruiser drifted helplessly, dead in space. "Dragon leader to all fighters," Hyejin said. "That is how it is done." "Next target, move!" On Thesara Prime, Rila watched the battle through long-range sensors. She could not believe what she was seeing. The Kravik fleet was falling apart. Ships exploded or went dark every few seconds. The human vessels moved through the battlefield like sharks through fish, precise and deadly. "How are they doing this?" Vekor asked, his voice barely a whisper. 12 ships against 47 should be suicide. They should be losing. "They are not like us," Rila said slowly. "Look at how they fight. No hesitation, no fear. They move like this is natural to them." The Kravik warlord knew he was beaten. Half his fleet was gone. The survivors were scattered and panicking. These humans fought like demons. Their weapons were superior. Their tactics were flawless. Their will to fight was absolute. "All ships, retreat," he screamed into his communicator. "Fall back to rally point 7 now." The remaining Kravik vessels turned and ran. Some managed to jump to faster than light speed. Others were too damaged. The human fighters chased them down like wolves after wounded prey. No mercy, no quarter given. 4 hours after the battle started, it was over. 31 Kravik ships were destroyed or disabled. 16 managed to escape. Not a single human vessel was lost. A few fighters had taken damage. One destroyer had a cracked hull. But that was all. Captain Park stood on her bridge and surveyed the aftermath. Debris floated everywhere. Escape pods from Kravik ships drifted in space. Her crew was already recovering survivors for interrogation. "Get me a damage report," she ordered. "And someone find out where those ships ran to." Lieutenant Minho Choi led his Marine squad toward a disabled Kravik battleship. Their mission was to board it and capture any intelligence they could find. The ship's hull had a massive hole torn in its side. "Perfect entry point. Remember your training," he told his squad. "These Kravik fought poorly in space, but they might be better on their own ships. Stay alert. Watch your corners. Anyone shoots at you, put them down." The Marines attached magnetic boots to the hull and entered through the breach. Inside, emergency lights flickered. Smoke filled the corridors. They moved carefully, weapons raised, checking every room. They found the Kravik crew huddled in a cargo bay, 20 soldiers and a handful of officers. When the Kravik saw the human Marines, they raised their weapons. Then they got a good look at the humans themselves. Humans looked wrong to other species. Too tall, too heavily built, eyes that faced forward like predators. The Marines wore powered armor that made them even larger and more threatening. They moved with confidence and aggression that spoke of countless battles. One Kravik officer dropped his weapon. Then another. Within seconds, all of them had surrendered. They had fought the human ships and lost. They had no desire to fight human soldiers face to face. "Smart choice," Minho said. "On your knees, hands behind your heads. Anyone tries anything stupid and you will regret it." Admiral Kim sent a message to the Velran planet. "This is Admiral Kim. The Kravik blockade is broken. Your space is secure. We will maintain patrol while we assess the situation. I need to speak with your leadership immediately. We have much to discuss." Rila received the message with trembling hands. They had won. The humans had actually won. Her people were safe. But as she prepared to respond, a cold fear settled in her stomach. Yes, the Kravik were gone. But now there were humans here instead. Humans who fought with such terrible efficiency. Humans who had torn apart a superior fleet without breaking a sweat. What kind of allies had they summoned? And more importantly, what would the humans want in return for their help? She took a deep breath and activated her communicator. "Admiral Kim, this is Ambassador Rila. Thank you for your assistance. Our council would be honored to meet with you. When would you like to come to our planet?" The explosions lit up the dark sky like fireworks, but nobody was celebrating. Ambassador Rila pressed her hands against the cold glass window and watched another orbital station break apart above her world. Pieces of metal and fire scattered into space. That was the 7th station the Kravik destroyed today. 7 stations that protected her people. 7 stations that were now just burning wreckage. Behind her, the council chamber buzzed with frightened voices. 30 leaders from across the Thesara Prime argued about what to do next. Some wanted to surrender. Others wanted to run away to the outer colonies. A few still believed they could negotiate with the Kravik. Rila knew better. She had seen the Kravik broadcasts. They did not negotiate. They conquered. The Velran people were not warriors. They never had been. Their world was peaceful, with gentle weather and abundant food. They built libraries and hospitals, not weapons and warships. Their greatest achievements were in medicine and art. They had cured diseases and created beautiful symphonies. But none of that mattered now. The Kravik did not care about culture or healing. They only understood force. Scientist Vekor rushed into the chamber, his robes flying behind him. His eyes were wide with excitement or fear. Rila could not tell which. He carried a datapad that glowed with ancient symbols. The council fell silent as he approached the central platform. "I found something," Vekor said, his voice shaking. "In the old archives, buried in files from before our recorded history. There is a beacon. A device left by someone from long ago." The council members leaned forward. Hope was a dangerous thing, but they had nothing else left. The Kravik fleet would land their soldiers in 3 days.
Maybe 2.
The Velrun had no army to stop them. "What does it do?" the council leader asked. Vekor tapped his datapad and a hologram appeared above the platform. It showed a small device, barely larger than a person's hand. Strange writing covered its surface. "According to the files, this beacon calls for help. It sends a signal across space to others who might answer. The files call it an emergency alliance protocol." "Who left it?" someone asked. "We do not know," Vekor admitted. "The files are incomplete. But whoever they were, they left these beacons on many worlds. The message says it is for civilizations facing extinction, for those who need allies." "And who will answer?" Rila asked quietly. "We do not know any other species. We have never met anyone else in space except the Kravik." Vekor's face was grim. "That is the risk. We do not know who will come. We do not know if anyone will come at all." The council chamber erupted in arguments again. Some said it was too dangerous to activate an unknown device. Others said they had no choice. The Kravik would kill them or enslave them. At least the beacon offered a chance, even a small one. Rila looked out the window again. Another explosion flashed in the sky. The Kravik were getting closer. "How long to activate the beacon?" she asked. 2 hours, Vekor said. "I can prepare it in 2 hours." The council leader stood up slowly. He was old and tired, and the weight of their civilization's survival pressed down on his shoulders. "Do it," he said. "Activate the beacon. We have nothing left to lose." 2 hours later, Rila stood in the ancient vault beneath the capital city. The beacon sat on a stone pedestal, exactly where Vekor's files said it would be. It looked simple, almost ordinary. Hard to believe something so small could change everything. Vekor's hands shook as he connected power cables to the device. "I translated the activation sequence," he said. "Once I press this, the signal will go out. We cannot stop it or take it back." "Then press it," Rila said firmly. The beacon hummed to life. Blue light spread across its surface, following the patterns of the ancient writing. Then it pulsed, sending a wave of energy that Rila could feel in her bones. The signal jumped into space, moving faster than light, reaching out into the vast darkness between stars. They waited. Nothing happened. 5 minutes passed. 10, 20. Maybe nobody heard it, Vekor whispered. Then every communication device in the city started screaming at once. Alarms blared. Screens lit up with warnings. Something massive had just appeared at the edge of their solar system. Not one ship. Many ships. Rila ran to the nearest screen. Her breath caught in her throat. The sensors showed 12 vessels, each one larger than anything the Velrun had ever built. They were not Kravik ships. The design was completely different. Sharp angles and heavy armor. These ships looked like they were made for war. A message came through in their language, translated by computer. The voice was human, though Rila did not know that word yet. It was direct and cold, wasting no time on pleasantries. "This is Admiral Do-Hyun Kim of the Human 3rd Expeditionary Fleet. We received your distress beacon. Identify your situation and hostile forces immediately." Rila's hands trembled as she activated the communication panel. "This is Ambassador Rila of the Velrun Confederation. Our world is under attack by the Kravik Dominion. They have 47 warships blockading our planet. We have no military capability. We are a peaceful people." There was a pause. Then the Admiral spoke again. 47 ships, understood. We will handle this. Evacuate your orbital platforms immediately. Clear all flight paths. We are moving to engage." "Wait," Rila said desperately. "You only have 12 ships. They have 47. You cannot possibly—" "Ambassador." The Admiral's voice cut through her words. "You called for help. We are here. Now clear those platforms before you lose more people. The communication ended. Rayla stared at the screen, not knowing whether to feel hope or terror. These humans, whoever they were, sounded absolutely certain, confident, like facing 47 enemy ships was just another day for them. Aboard the dreadnought Indomitable, Captain G1 Park studied the tactical display. The Kravik fleet sat in a standard blockade formation around the planet. Predictable, conventional. They probably thought they were invincible. Captain, her tactical officer said, the Kravik are hailing us. They want to know who we are. Ignore them, Park said. Weapons, what is our firing solution? Locked and ready. All batteries charged. Missile tubes loaded. We can engage at will. Park allowed herself a thin smile. The Kravik had no idea what was coming. They were used to bullying peaceful species. They had probably never faced a real military force before. That was about to change. All ships, this is Indomitable, she broadcast to the fleet. Battle formation Delta. Carrier groups to flanks. Capital ships advance center. Marines prepare for boarding actions. Rules of engagement are free. Show them why you do not threaten defenseless worlds when humans are watching. The human fleet accelerated toward the planet. Their ships moved fast, faster than the Kravik expected. Faster than should be possible. The distance closed rapidly. On Thesera Prime, Rila watched the sensors in stunned silence. The human fleet was not slowing down. They were not trying to negotiate. They were not positioning for defense. They were attacking. 12 ships charging straight at 47 like predators who had spotted prey. What kind of people did we summon? Vacor whispered beside her. Rila did not have an answer, but as she watched the human fleet close in on the Kravik blockade, she felt something she had not felt in months. Not quite hope. Not quite fear. Something between them. Whatever happened next, the galaxy would never be the same.